Hey, so I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about the 2026 contribution limit. So for 2026, the pre-tax contribution limit is $24,500 and the total limit is $72,000. So you can put 24,500 into pre-tax and 72 after tax. But that includes your employer match. So if y'all are getting an employer match, just make sure that it doesn't exceed the $72,000 total. Also, when you're doing your contributions for your paycheck, sometimes they might have something called pre tax, after tax, default after tax, and Roth. So the first one is your pre tax, it lowers your taxable amount for the year. Your $24,500, you can deduct that from your income pretty much. And for the after tax, it actually goes into a bucket called after tax, which is just what it is. It's after tax. But you can usually sometimes convert this into a mega backdoor Roth. So you just put the money in there. It might invest or it might not. It might just go into the bucket. You need to check if you're going to leave it in the after tax bucket so that you're not just leaving money on the table, not invested. But if you put it into after tax and you have the ability to do a mega backdoor Roth conversion, you could go ahead and call you know, your employer plan, or mine is Fidelity, so I just call Fidelity and I say, hey, I want to do a conversion. Or actually what I did this last year is I set my after tax to automatically convert, so now I don't have to worry about it. It just converts and then it invests per my 401k plan, which is the S&P 500. That's always a good bet. So then after that, there's default after tax. After you hit the $24,500 limit, it will go into the default after tax bucket. It waits until you hit that 24,500. So if you accidentally say set up your pre-tax at too high of a percentage of your paycheck and you end the year like early, like a few checks short, and you hit the 24,500, say before 3 checks before the end of the year, then the rest will be put into the default after tax bucket. So it'll only be a little bit of money at the end of each year. But if you do Roth, it'll actually go in not pre-tax and it won't lower your taxable income for the year. So you have to be sure which one that you want to put it in. You don't want to just throw it into the wrong bucket. You need to make some planning. And I'm not a financial advisor. This is all that I've learned in the last year. I also found that um, if you do both, you need to make sure that when you're setting up your percentages to be taken out of your pre-tax, you might want to stretch it so that it reaches the last paycheck before you hit the $24,500, because once you hit that limit, you may lose money on your employer match. See, your employer match is sometimes a percentage of your paycheck, but if you still make money for the rest of the year, but you already hit the 24,500, you no longer receive a match. So, yeah, it's just a percentage of each paycheck. Basically, you hit that 24,500 and then they won't match anymore. So you would have ended up with more money if you'd have made sure it stretched to the last check. So just keep that in mind. But that's all I had to say. Thanks for coming by.